In the age of high-resolution digital cinema and still cameras, why do we still care so much about film and the film look? As I make this in 2025, the highest resolution digital cinema camera is 12K, which is almost an 80 megapixel sensor, and for still cameras, the highest resolution is 100 megapixels. So I have to ask the question, why are we always comparing digital to film? To answer this question, I must start from the beginning. What is film, and why is it so great? Is it because our most iconic photographs and our favorite films were shot using film? Some productions are still shot on film today. Many recent nominated movies were shot using film. In 1826, a French inventor and scientist, Nicéphore Niepce, created the first negative photograph. Titled View from the Window at Le Gras, Niepce captured this image on a piece of metal using a camera obscura and light-sensitive silver salts scrubbed on the surface. It took several days of exposure to sunlight for the silver salts to leave an impression on the metal surface. But eventually, a negative image was produced. Photography existed only in black and white until 1935. The development of positive film began in the early 1900s as photographers and cinematographers sought better ways to create transparent images that could be projected or viewed directly. Kodak was a key player in this early development, with products like the Kodachrome slide film introduced in 1935. 2026 will mark 200 years since the first known photograph. I wonder, what if the situation was reversed and digital was invented first? Would we be making plugins to make film look like digital? The subject of film is deeply personal and meaningful to me. Learning photography in the late 90s was special. There just wasn't a lot of photographers like there is today. I'm not sure I even know how to explain the feeling to you unless you have experienced using film yourself. Taking trips with rolls of film, not knowing what you captured until you get home to develop all of it. The anticipation was just so exciting. All this talk of film is making me nostalgic. The launch of YouTube in 2005 was a game changer. My wife and I decided to create a photography show called Beyond the Photograph. I wanted to teach people the basics of photography on location. There was nothing like it at the time, and I thought it was strange that no one was doing it. It wasn't easy. There was no monetization back then. I would pack my Nikon F100 and Pentax 67 and all of my lenses to many locations. My wife would film me with a Sony M1 standard definition camera. The Sony M1 was really ahead of its time. Before I could edit, I had to scan all my film and digitize it so I could create a video that I could post on YouTube and iTunes. My favorite film for landscapes was Fuji Velvia 50. There was just something magical about Velvia. The saturated colors, shadows, and the low grain. It just brought out the best in landscapes. Forward to today, there are countless photographers with how-to shows. I no longer feel the need to teach. I film my photography adventures today, only to prove to the future that I ever existed. I don't usually like doing reviews. But when the good people over at Dehancer reached out and asked me to review their plugin, I had to take a closer look. Offering film looks is nothing new, and I have tried other software in the past, and nothing has really delivered. Due to the meaningful subject matter, I had to dig in and see for myself what is so special about Dehancer. Going through their website, I noticed the CEO and co-founder, Pavel Kosenko, wrote a book called Lifelike. I'll admit, I haven't had time to read the entire book yet, only a few select chapters, but I can't help but think, was Dehancer his answer to his book Lifelike? His film lab and photography experience, along with his understanding of color science, makes him more than qualified to lead in the effort to catalog and preserve all of our film. In fact, the entire team at Dehancer is dedicated to preserving our film history. The Dehancer plugin is the closest to the film look I have seen so far because it's actually made from real film. I think companies like Dehancer deserve the support of the creative community. I can foresee there might come a day where we don't have access to physical film any longer. Preserving the technical looks of film today for our future generations is a noble task. With Dehancer, you're not just buying another plugin, you're investing in a legacy. Let's look at some examples. First, let's look at real-life Fuji Velvia and Provia film that was professionally scanned. As you look at these photos, notice there is very little film grain. The film look isn't all about film grain. I notice film has deeper shadows. The digital camera tends to lift shadows electronically, and with that, we tend to edit our images by lifting the shadows even more, like HDR. Let's take a look at what I mean by this. Notice the shadows in the raw version. Now notice the shadows in the Dehancer Fuji Velvia 50 version. It definitely mimics what film looks like. Now let's look at the next new thing, AI. AI has a more pure image than a digital image. Using Dehancer plugin, you can make it more realistic by adding film looks to it. Next, let's look at some Unreal Engine examples. Although not AI, it's still too clean and cartoony looking. Let's add some film quality to it and see if we can make it look better. As you can see, there are many reasons to use Dehancer on your images and footage. Should you always use it? It depends on the look you're going for in your project. Who is this Dehancer plugin for? I think it's for the amateur photographer and filmmaker who just want a special look and feel for their project. I think it's for the advanced users who need help recreating filmic looks for their projects, so they don't have to spend so much time on color nodes. I am using Dehancer in Affinity Photo 2.6. As of February 2025, this plugin for Affinity Photo is currently in beta. I get some application crashes, but I'm able to use the plugin and it works quite well. I am also using Dehancer in DaVinci Resolve 19 with no issues. I find this plugin to be more efficient than using multiple nodes to grade my footage. If you like to create on an iPad or iPhone, they have a new iOS app. Let's take a look at some footage color graded on the app. Did taking a deep dive into the subject of film answer my question? To put it in simple terms, digital is great, but it's just too perfect. It allows us to manipulate it in ways we haven't been able to do before. Whereas film is also great, but it's imperfect. it doesn't have the manipulation range that digital allows us. That's why we can turn digital into film and not the other way around. Dehancer is more than just a creative software company. They are more like a film preservation society. They deserve a spot on the shelf next to every roll of film in our most secret doomsday bunker for the next surviving civilization to rediscover. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you would like to support my work and the hard work of the Dehancer team, please consider getting a copy of Dehancer for yourself. Use coupon code BHPHOTO for 10% off. There is a link in the description below. Thank you for watching. Get out, get 'em dirty, and I hope to see you out capturing the elements. Now enjoy some of my favorite digital photos that I took, enhanced with Dehancer.
This is how you make me feel.